Welcome to the demonstration of our full HCM suite. This video will walk you through the major components of HR, timekeeping, and payroll to help give you an idea of how you can use this solution to streamline and simplify your day-to-day business activities. Using the table of contents, you can quickly and easily jump ahead to any areas of interest as needed. What if you could create a personalized, easy-to-use experience for both your recruiters and candidates with a recruiting tool built right into your human capital management solution? Our recruitment tool will help you manage the entire recruiting process from creating and posting job requisitions to engaging with potential employees. This solution will allow you to review and track your applicants, schedule interviews, send out offer letters, and transition candidates seamlessly into your onboarding process. Let's get started with taking a look at your applicant's experience. Here we have an example of our career landing page. You can choose to post career opportunities onto your company website, Indeed, or other various job boards, and the career landing page will be branded with your logo and personalized for your company. From this screen, your candidates can drill down into the job requisition that you have created, which will tell the candidates more about that particular position and allow the candidates to apply for that job. Today, candidates are looking for an easy and convenient application process. Not only are they able to search for a job from their phone, but they can also complete the entire application from their mobile device as well. Now, you can determine what information you would like to collect from your candidates. As you can see here, we have a quick apply tool that requires minimal data to be collected from your candidates. Enabling this quick apply option reduces the risk of quality candidates dropping out of the application process due to time constraints. You also have the option of designing a customized application to gather the specific information needed to better evaluate your candidates. So let's take a look at our full online application. In this case, I'm going to log in as an existing applicant so that we can take a look at an application that's already been completed. As a new candidate completes their application, they will simply enter in their information using the application panel here on the left. Candidates have a couple of options for how to get their information into this online application. On the Resume tab, they can either upload their existing resume or they can pull their information from their LinkedIn profile. Both options will automatically populate their online application with their personal information, their work experience, their education, etc. They can then continue reviewing and editing their application as needed. As we take a look at this online application, keep in mind that this is completely customizable, allowing you to determine what information you want to collect from your candidates. You can mark certain fields as required, you can create custom fields to collect any additional information, and you can ask qualifying questions as part of this application process. These qualifying questionnaires can be set up to screen candidates based upon certain qualifications to help determine who might be a good fit for this position. And once the candidate has completed their application, they can submit that application to the hiring manager for review. Now, as candidates move through the evaluation process, they will be notified of any pending tasks that need their attention, such as participating in any additional screenings or authorizing a background check. They can receive these notifications through a variety of methods, including email or text notifications, and these pending actions will be displayed right here within their applicant portal. Now let's take a look at how you can manage the recruitment process. So to do this, we will log in as our hiring manager. Now, as a recruiter, we don't want to miss out on good talent, so we really need to jump on these quality applicants as soon as they apply. So here on the recruitment dashboard, we can get an insight into how many open job requisitions we're looking to fill. We can also see how many candidates have applied to each one of these open positions. And we can check out where each candidate falls within the hiring process. So let's begin by taking a look at an open job requisition. And let's open our supervisor position. Now this brings us to our recruitment workspace, which optimizes the way that recruiters will manage the entire recruitment process from creating job requisitions to evaluating candidates. And this is where you would go to set up a new job requisition. This workspace includes a quick actions menu for easier management. When first creating a new job requisition, we can use the preview button to preview the job requisition prior to posting it to your job boards. Then at the bottom of this screen, you can automatically post these open jobs directly to your respective job boards with just a click of a button. Now here at the top of the screen, I can see how long this job has been open and how many candidates have applied to this position. I can also add new candidates from here, and if I want to evaluate my candidates, I can click here on the Applications tab across the top of the screen. This brings me to a list of all of those who have applied for this position. Using the quick filters here on the left, I can filter down my list of candidates. Perhaps I'm preparing for an upcoming interview, and I need to evaluate those candidates moving into the interview stage of this hiring process. So we can use this hiring stages filter to get visibility into those candidates in the interview phase. And now from this workspace, we can drill down into each one of these candidates to view their resume, schedule interviews, and move them through the hiring process. So let's walk this applicant through the applicant tracking process. From here, you can move the candidates through the defined hiring stages from the time the application was submitted all the way through the hiring process. And as candidates navigate through these different hiring stages, emails can be automatically sent out to those candidates to inform them of where they stand within the hiring process. Now, as we're preparing for an upcoming interview, we may need to check out his resume. As you can see, we have instant access to his resume right here from this screen. Remember, all of the information captured from the candidate will flow into the applicant tracking system seamlessly to make for an easier evaluation. Right from here, you can evaluate his experience, his credentials, etc. Once again, we have our Quick Actions menu, which provides quick access to common applicant tracking tasks. For example, you can schedule and manage interviews right from here. Once an interview has been scheduled, you can easily email the candidate from here as well. And when communicating with the candidate, you have the option of either drafting an email on the fly or selecting from one of our predetermined email templates. As you can see, I've created an email template that we can send to all of the candidates that move on to this phase of the interview process. You can also include a meeting invitation to this candidate as well. When it comes to facilitating an interview, you can also add an evaluation questionnaire, which can provide preset screening questions for the hiring manager to use throughout the interview process. Now let's fast forward a little bit and say that we are looking to hire this candidate. We have the ability to create offer letters that we can send to the applicant, and upon acceptance, we can move forward with the hiring process. When we are ready to hire the applicant, we can select the Hire button, which brings us to the New Hires screen. Keep in mind that the system takes all of his existing information and it pulls it into his new hire employee record. And then based upon the job that he is being hired into, his employee record will also be populated with the appropriate profiles and settings. This really streamlines the new hire process for the administrator. They would need to validate the employee's Social Security number and enter in the base compensation before they can move forward with hiring the employee. Once a new employee is hired, this will automatically kick off the onboarding process for this newly hired employee. This solution provides an onboarding experience that sets the stage for how you want your employees to feel about their new job, even before their first day. Using this personalized onboarding approach, you will empower your new hires to easily complete all of their important tasks and give them everything they need to be successful from the time they sign their offer letter. Your employees can access their employee self-service portal from any device, including their phone, and they will have the same user experience across the board. From the moment that your new hire signs their offer letter, they are given access to their onboarding portal. This personalized new hire dashboard can include a welcome message and dynamic content to keep the new hire engaged prior to their first day of work. This can be used to introduce company culture, set expectations for their first day of work, and share relevant resources such as links to their benefit packages and training resources, as well as company documents. Now, as you bring on new employees, you will need to train them on how to use the system. For example, they will need to know how to navigate through their employee self-service portal, how to clock in and out, how to request time off, etc. You have the ability to provide training aids to your employees to help them with these items. So let's take a quick look at what we can make available to your new employees. This site provides new hires with designated learning paths based upon their role. In addition, they can search through the course catalog to access any additional training as needed. Then, on the employee's first day of work, their onboarding tasks can be made available through this checklist so they can begin their onboarding process. Keep in mind that this checklist is completely customizable to help streamline your onboarding process. Within each checklist, you can assign different tasks to different individuals. For example, maybe IT should be involved with getting this new hire's workstation set up prior to their first day of employment. As you can see, this checklist is displaying all of the onboarding tasks that have been assigned to this employee to complete. You can include all of your new hire tasks within this checklist by creating electronic versions of each form. And keep in mind that because this employee has entered most of their personal information through their online application, these forms will already be populated with all of their data. First, you will notice that each item can be assigned a due date, which can trigger reminder notifications. In addition, you can also define workflows to capture electronic signatures, and these completed forms will then be routed to the appropriate individuals within the organization. In this first step, our new hire is required to watch their onboarding training videos, which can be embedded directly into their onboarding checklist, or the employees can be redirected to a third-party site to participate in training activities. Also within this checklist, employees can review their handbook and sign off on their handbook authorization form. The electronic onboarding process also includes your government forms like your I-9 forms and your withholding forms, which are kept up to date within the product. Right from here, your employees can complete their I-9 forms, and you will notice that this form has already been populated with this employee's personal information, making it that much quicker and easier for them to complete this process. Now, there is logic built into the system which prevents employees from submitting a form that is incomplete. So once this form is fully completed, the employee can submit this to their manager, who would be responsible for completing Section 2 of this form. There is also a built-in integration with E-Verify that will automate the process of verifying employment eligibility within the United States. Next, employees can complete their withholding forms. Again, this form has already been populated with their personal information, so they will simply need to determine their filing status, and they will need to add in their dependent information. These withholding forms will then be submitted for approval, and the tax information will automatically be updated within payroll for the next pay period. Employees can also add in their own direct deposits through the onboarding process. This form allows employees to enter in their direct deposit information, validate their routing number, and upload a copy of their voided check. This form will then be submitted for approval, and the new direct deposit will go into effect based upon the effective date entered here on this form. Now, as an employee is working through their onboarding checklist, the administrator can keep track of the status of the onboarding process to make sure that everything is completed timely and that the employee is smoothly transitioned into their new role. Our advanced scheduling tool will give you additional power and flexibility when it comes to meeting your more complex scheduling needs. Schedules can be generated based upon your organization's requirements to help control your labor costs and improve overall productivity. With this scheduling tool, you have access to a rules engine that will ensure that you have eligible and qualified employees scheduled into each shift. You will also gain tools to help manage open shifts and empower your employees to better manage their own schedules. Let's begin by taking a look at our Scheduling Manager's dashboard. Our schedule dashboard is set up to provide additional insight into the information that we need to help us better manage our schedules. Keep in mind that these tiles that we see here are completely configurable to provide us with the tools needed to be successful in our day-to-day activities. In this example, we have a tile that will flag any open shifts that need to be filled. We also have a couple of tiles here that will show us how many hours are scheduled across different departments or different jobs within our organization. And finally, here at the bottom of our dashboard, we have a tile that is showing us all of the schedules that have been created for this company, allowing us quick access to review or make edits to our existing schedules. Now, perhaps our scheduling manager needs to set up a new schedule for an upcoming week. So to do this, we would need to open this report. From here, we can create a new schedule. And first, we would need to identify the schedule that we are creating. So in this case, we are looking at one master schedule across the entire company, but you can also set up separate schedules across different locations or departments as needed. Then we would need to select the start date for this schedule. Now, there are multiple ways that you can create schedules within the system. So for static or non-fluctuating schedules, you can create a schedule template and auto-generate the schedules week over week. These schedules are still important, allowing you to track attendance and time away from work, but they can be automated to free up your time for other initiatives. We can also create schedules based upon volume. Volume-based scheduling will allow you to import volume and create your shifts based upon forecasted data. And the last way to create our schedules is to begin with a workload template, which outlines the general shift requirements. So let's take a look at an example of using a workload template. Again, we are just creating one schedule across this company. However, you could have separate templates for each location or department listed here as well. So now that we've selected our template, our shifts have been identified and are color-coded for easy identification. The next step would be to generate these shifts for open coverage. This will move the open shifts from the template to the schedule so we can schedule employees into those open shifts. So let's take a look at this schedule. Here under the Open Shift panel, we can see all of our open shifts being displayed. We can then easily assign the shifts to the employees directly from here. Now, rather than assigning all of these shifts manually, we can also auto-assign these shifts to help save time as we build our schedules. This act of auto-assigning shifts does take just a few minutes to populate out this schedule. During this process, it is looking at each employee's availability, what skills they have, and the cost centers they can work in. In addition, it's also looking back to our advanced scheduling rules. These rules will ensure that there are not any scheduling violations. Keep in mind that these rules can be configured based upon your specific business needs. So for example, you can set up rules based upon the number of hours scheduled per day or per week, which will prevent an employee from being scheduled into an overtime situation. Once the shifts have been automatically assigned, we can then view the fully populated schedule. As you can see, we can easily review and manage the schedule on a day-by-day basis. Now, when you refresh your screen, you can see the total scheduled hours and any unfilled hours across the entire schedule, and you will get visibility into any labor costs associated with this schedule as well. Now, you also have the ability to set up budgets for your schedule to limit the labor costs associated with this schedule if needed. You can also group this schedule by cost center to get better visibility into each location, department, job, etc. And so as you can see, with just a click of a button, we have reorganized our schedule to see a breakdown of each cost center to help ensure that we have the right coverage. You will also notice that each shift is color-coded for easier schedule management. And while this schedule has been auto-populated for us, we still may need to review it and make edits before posting the schedule for our employees. So in this example, let's say that we need to add an additional shift. We are now brought to a shift management tool where we can identify the shift date and the shift time. Let's change the shift time to begin at 8 a.m. and to end at 4 p.m. Next, we need to add the shift qualifications, in other words, which cost center and which associated skill or job we are adding to this schedule for this defined shift. And finally, we need to make our employee selection. As you can see, we are brought to a list of employees who are available and eligible to take this shift. This list is considering all of your scheduling rules to prevent any scheduling violations. On the Others tab, we can see an example of how the system filters out any employees that do not qualify for a shift based upon your scheduling rules. It will check for skill and cost center eligibility, overlapping shifts, overtime, time off, and availability. Let's select our qualified employee. And now we can view that employee's full schedule details and compare it to their defined availability. Then we can save this shift and it will be posted to the schedule. We can also adjust the existing assigned shifts by clicking on the shift itself right here on the schedule. As you can see, a pop-up card appears, which allows us to get increased visibility into this particular shift. This will allow us to delete the shift, copy the shift, unassign an employee from the shift, and also manage the shift. This is the same functionality that we saw when we added a new shift. We can change the date or time of this shift. We can split the shift. We can also edit the cost centers or skills required for this shift, or we can assign a different employee to this shift. Now remember, we are looking at this view one day at a time, so we can toggle to review each day on this schedule, making any adjustments as we go. We can also view the entire week at once. Here we have the same level of visibility as the day view, but on a much larger scale. We can still get visibility into each one of these shifts by opening up our pop-up card, and we can continue to make adjustments as needed. Now, once we have finished reviewing our schedule, we've filled all of our open shifts, we've reviewed any scheduling violations, then we should be ready to post this schedule. After the schedule has been posted, the system will update the schedules for the employees to view within their employee self-service portal, and employees will be alerted through an email notification that their schedule is ready to be viewed. So now let's move on and talk about open shift management. Back on our scheduling dashboard, we have a tile that is flagging any open shifts that need to be filled. Then the approved time off request will take the place of the shift on the schedule, unassigning the employee and creating an open shift that needs to be filled. You can require that your employees fill those open shifts themselves, or the scheduling manager can handle this process. Now this tile here is identifying that we have an open shift that needs to be filled, and we can easily drill right down into that shift from here. As you can see, we can then review the shift details and assign the employee to the shift right from here. And keep in mind, the system will only allow us to select an employee that meets the right qualifications so that we don't create a scheduling violation. Now, rather than just assigning the shift, we also have the option to post this open shift to a set of employees and allow our employees to volunteer to pick up that shift. So let's take a look. In this case, let's pull up the schedule that included this open shift. As you can see, there is an open shift identified here under the Open Shift panel, and we can click on the Manage Open Shifts hyperlink to push this out to our employees. From here, we can select the shift and identify the employees that are eligible to take this shift. Again, this will only allow us to post this to employees that meet the scheduling qualifications. And once this shift has been posted, these employees will receive a notification and can pick up the shift on a first-come, first-served basis. Keep in mind that any changes made after a schedule has been posted can be edited right from the schedule itself, and the changes will be pushed back to the employee. Now let's take a look at how the employees can access their schedule. So as we take a look at the employee view, keep in mind that employees can access their schedule from anywhere on any device. And right here from their dashboard, they have access to view their schedule and their time off calendar for quick visibility. This calendar will show the employee when they are scheduled to work versus when they are scheduled to be off. It will also highlight any approved PTO or company paid holidays as well. When selecting a day here on the calendar, a pop-up card will display, showing me additional information about my schedule or my time off. And by clicking on my schedule, I can get more detail into my entire schedule. Here, an employee can see when and where they are scheduled to work. And the system will give them everything they need in order to make sure that they are at work in the right place at the right time. You can also give employees control over their own schedule by allowing them to pick up any open shifts based upon their qualifications and their availability. And if an employee needed to make a change to their schedule, they can initiate those scheduling changes themselves. As you can see, we will get a list of eligible qualified employees that we can post this shift out to. And once posted, employees will receive a notification and they can pick up the shift on a first-come, first-served basis. Any requests for scheduling changes will be routed through an approval process before going into effect. Essentially, this gives employees more control over their work-life balance, which makes for happier, more productive employees. When it comes to a time and labor management solution, you need a tool that will not only allow your employees to clock in and out and request time off, but you also need a tool to proactively alert your managers of any pending action items and give your management team access to analytics that will help drive business outcomes and efficiencies. So let's jump right into our employees view and discuss the different ways that employees can track their time within the system. First, we have a mobile app, which will allow your employees to clock in or out on their mobile device. Keep in mind that we can define geofencing restrictions to ensure that your employees are clocking in at the right location. In addition, we can also work with a variety of different hardware devices, which can range from simple swipe devices to biometric devices. And of course, the employees can also track their time using the web portal as well. So let's take a look at how our employees can collect and manage their time. Right here on this employee's dashboard, I have quick access to clock in, clock out, and change cost centers throughout the day. And by clicking on the Change Cost Center button, I can then select which cost center I will be working in. As you can see, a list of available cost centers will appear for me to make my selection. And once selected, the user will then be notified that this transfer happened successfully. Now, if I wanted to review my timesheet, I can access the timesheet right here from the same dashboard tile. And this will take me to my current timesheet where I can review all of my time entries so far for this pay period. And if necessary, I can request changes to be made to my timesheet through a timesheet change request. Here I can request that time be added or modified on my timesheet, and these requested changes will be routed through an approval process before going into effect. The system also allows me to track any additional information such as tips, mileage, and expense reimbursements. Here we can select the date of this expense, And we can select the type of expense. I will also then need to enter in the dollar amount for this reimbursement. In addition to simply tracking expenses, I can also upload a copy of my receipt for my manager to review as part of this timesheet approval process. And then once approved, the extra pay will flow over into payroll. Now let's take a look at how an employee can request time off in the system. Right here on our dashboard, we have instant visibility into our PTO balances. And keep in mind that we can establish rules which could require an employee to accommodate an upcoming time off request. In this example, let's request a day of vacation. We are now redirected to our time off request screen where we have access to a calendar highlighting our current scheduled days and any upcoming PTO or company holidays. This insight really helps employees as they are managing their time off. Now, to start our PTO request, we would simply select a day right here on the calendar. And keep in mind that there is an optimized rules engine in place, allowing you to set rules around how an employee can take their vacation. For example, you could establish rules around blackout periods, or maybe to allow only a certain number of employees to be out on a given day. And if there is a violation against the PTO policy, then the system will create an error to identify that restriction. Now, when completing the request, we can identify if this will be a full day or partial day of vacation. And as you can see, the date is already populated based upon the date selected on the calendar. And you may also enter a comment for this request if needed. Now, if you put in a time off request on a day that is not available, you will receive a warning message. And in this case, I will go ahead and submit this request anyway, so we can see what the manager approval process will look like. Once this request has been submitted, a notification will alert the manager that the time off request is now ready for their review. Let's now take a look at how our managers can utilize the system to help manage their workload. When our manager logs in, he has everything that he needs in order to better manage his employees right here at his fingertips. From his dashboard, he can easily manage all of his day-to-day tasks. And keep in mind that any to-do item will trigger an email notification to the manager prompting them to take action. Here you can see that time off request that we just submitted for our employee is being displayed as a task here under the time off awaiting my approval window. And remember, we can set rules around your time off policy, so by the time it reaches the manager's desk, it should be an easy approval process. So let's go ahead and approve this request. As you can see, due to our time off policy, there is a reminder that there are no slots available. In this case, we will use our discretion to approve this request. Now, keep in mind that you can set up multiple levels of approval based upon your business needs, and once this has been approved, a notification will go back to the employee, letting them know the status of their request, and the time off can then be exported to their calendar. Now we can move forward with approving the timesheets. Again, right from this dashboard, we have access to a window displaying all of the timesheets that are pending approval. The manager can approve these timesheets all at once or on an individual basis. Now, there are checks and balances in place to flag any missing punches so that we make sure everything is correct before we send these hours into payroll. As we can see here, we have an employee that has an incomplete time entry, so let's skip this timesheet and approve the rest. Now I can drill down into this timesheet to make the correction. I can easily locate the missing punch as it is highlighted here on the timesheet, and it appears that this employee did not clock out at the end of the day, so let's correct this punch. Now, keep in mind that the system is capturing all of these changes in an audit trail. We can capture who made the change, when the changes were made, the old value versus the new value, and which IP address the change was made from. In addition, notes can be left against a timesheet to provide additional information about why a change was made. If there is ever a discrepancy, you can always look back to the audit trail to get a better understanding of what happened. And once you have finished correcting the missing punch, you can then move forward with approving the timesheet. And once all of your timesheets have been approved, they will then be ready for payroll processing. Now, our managers are looking for a tool that will give them visual insights into their team's operations, allowing them to view key metrics, analyze trends, and prompt them to take action when needed. So managers can create custom dashboard reports to help give them that much needed insight as to what is going on within their department. While we're here on the team dashboard, let's take a look at some of the analytics that I've created to take a deeper dive into the attendance issues across my team. And keep in mind that these tiles are completely customizable and you can determine what type of metrics you would like to display here. Now, attendance is so important when it comes to managing your team. So using the attendance board, you can see in real time who is in or out of the office at any given point throughout the day. On this dashboard, you can also flag any missing punches. You can see who is absent. And you can also check out any other attendance concerns. These attendance issues will trigger an email notification to management so they are aware and they can take any necessary action. Now, understanding that labor costs are such a large business expense, it's also important that our managers get a good pulse on the labor associated with their team. So here I've created some analytics to get further insight into what makes up our labor expenses. Here I've created a chart that is showing us how many total hours were worked across each cost center for a defined date range. Now, as we dig into our labor costs, one of the biggest reasons for unnecessary labor costs is overtime. So here I've created an overtime trends chart where I can quickly identify if my overtime is an isolated occurrence or if it's a reoccurring event. And then I can drill down into this data directly from my dashboard to get further insight. Now, in order to better control our overtime costs, you really need a tool that will give you instant visibility into your overtime so you can quickly take action and cut those unplanned labor costs. So here I've created an approaching overtime report, which will automatically alert management of those who have worked over a certain number of hours. And having this insight will allow managers to be more observant of how their employees are spending their time and will ultimately help to prevent that unnecessary overtime from occurring. In addition, this dashboard provides tools to help understand where the majority of your overtime is occurring. Essentially, you can monitor these overtime metrics so that you can see which cost centers have accrued the overtime and which employees make up those overtime hours. These metrics will help to determine if the overtime is a problem for one employee or a concern across the entire team. You can then evaluate these metrics to help make strategic business decisions such as reallocating the workload or possibly hiring a new employee. To view these metrics in further detail, we can drill down into the reports directly from this dashboard. Now, to get better insight into where my overtime is occurring, I'm going to begin by grouping this report by cost center. As you can see, this has helped me reorganize my data for better visibility. Each cost center is listed here on the left, and the cost center totals are being displayed here on the right-hand side of the screen with a breakdown of all of the employees underneath. In addition, I can get more detail and analyze my overtime trends by changing the date range associated with this report. You can define filters within this report to look for a specific calendar range, date range, or pay period. We can also filter this report around specific employees. Now, when it comes to reporting, each report has ad hoc reporting features where managers can pull information into their reports as needed. The current columns displayed within your report are listed here on the right, and on the left, you can do a search through a list of all of the available reportable columns. So let's do a search to bring in the hourly pay. Now, using the up and down arrows, we are able to decide where to display this column within the report. And once we're happy with the placement, we can then apply these changes. Now we can see that the hourly pay column has been added to our report, and once you have configured your report to your liking, you can then save those settings. When saving your report, you can also share this report with other managers across your organization. You can also export this report, so let's take a quick look. You can export these reports through one of the standard export settings, as you can see here. You can also choose to have this report delivered right to your inbox for easy access. Now, managers can also create charts and visualizations based upon the metrics collected in this report to get further insight, as you can see here at the bottom of this report. In addition, we have a guided analysis tool that will help assist in the analysis of your data. As you can see, when using this tool, you are able to easily pull metrics to get better insights into your overtime across different cost centers or managers. And you can also get a breakdown of how your work time is being distributed across your employee demographics, etc. So let's take a look at an example. First, we need to choose our cost center that we are going to be evaluating. And then we need to review our weekly overtime counter and our regular hours counter. And finally, we want to identify the date range that we are interested in looking at. And once you're ready, you can simply click on the Assist Me button. And this brings up our Insights Explorer results. In this case, we are able to get a better handle on how work time is being distributed by employee demographics based upon the filters that we had selected. Here we can see the regular hours and overtime hours broken down by ethnicity and age. We can also expand this report to include gender as well. And here at the bottom of this report, the system has created additional charts to better visualize these demographics. I hope that you are able to see that when it comes to managing your workforce, this solution will allow you to get the insights you need by providing the right tools to help you better manage your team, control your labor costs, and allow you to make more strategic business decisions. Let us help you simplify your payroll processing, ensure compliance, and receive the perfect paycheck every time. Our payroll engine is designed to simplify your entire payroll process, ensuring accuracy by reducing payroll errors and by providing in-depth reporting on your payroll data. With this tool, you can also empower your employees to access all of their payroll information, including their pay stubs and W-2s, quickly and easily from any device. Let's begin by taking a look at how you would be able to process your payroll with this solution. Here on the payroll dashboard, you can create functional charts to drill down into your payroll information. And keep in mind that you can determine what reporting and metrics you would like to have available right here at your fingertips, which can then be displayed here on your dashboard. In this example, you could have a chart that is showing you insights into your payroll trends over a period of time. You can also have a chart that is breaking down labor distribution across various cost centers within your organization. In addition, you can use this payroll report to easily see which payrolls need to be processed. And right from this payroll report, you can kick off your payroll processing. First, you are asked to initiate your payroll. Initiating the payroll creates all of the pay statements for the employees assigned to this pay period that you are processing. As you can see, this payroll processing screen is logically laid out to define every step of the process in a checklist type format, outlining a clear, easy process for your administrator to follow. Now, the first step is to go to the time prep process. This allows you to review all of your timekeeping data to make sure that it's ready for payroll processing. You will need to verify that all of your timesheets have been approved and that there are not any errors being flagged. Once this process has been completed, you can easily jump back to your payroll processing. And back here on your payroll checklist, you can then move forward with syncing the time, which will pull all of the timekeeping data into your pay statements so you can begin reviewing your payroll data. And the easiest way to review your payroll data is through the batch entry screen. So let's take a look at our batch. As you can see, this batch entry screen is used to review the payroll data across all employees from one screen. And if necessary, you can make manual overrides to the pay statements directly from this report. Now, as we are editing this data, there are checks and balances in place to prevent overpayments. So payroll alerts can be set up globally or on an individual basis using effective dating, and these alerts will require a sign-off to ensure that nothing gets overlooked during the payroll process. So a global alert might be set up to flag when an employee is being paid over a certain dollar amount, while an individual alert would be set up as a reminder to a user of something that needs to be done for a particular payroll. So from this batch, you can identify if there is a payroll alert when this notepad icon is being displayed. So to view the alert, we would simply click here on the icon. And in this case, this is an individual payroll alert that has been set up as a reminder to enter in a bonus for this employee. And you will notice that this does require sign-off. And without signing off on this alert, we will not be able to submit our payroll for finalization. So that being said, let's sign off on this alert now, and then we can enter in the bonus into our batch. When entering this bonus, you can keep the bonus on the same pay statement as the regular earnings, and the system will tax the regular earnings at the regular tax rate while it taxes the bonus at the supplemental rate, allowing you to keep everything on one check. Or you have the option of creating a second check. Here on the second line for this employee, you can add the bonus under the bonus column. You will also need to change the pay statement type to reflect the second check. So let's change this pay statement type to a bonus check. Now you can set up different rules for each of these different pay statement types. So for example, when you pay out a bonus check, maybe you want to block all deductions and issue the pay statement as a live check. Once ready, let's save and update our payroll to save the changes that we just made. Now, as the batch is being saved and updated, calculations are being applied in real time. So you can review those pay statements and run any payroll reports without the need for the traditional pre-process. So if we take a look at this pay statement that we just created, you will notice that it has not been finalized. The bonus that we entered for this employee is now appearing here on the pay stub. And from here, you will be able to see how the bonus will affect the taxes, which are being calculated in real time. Our system uses geospatial technology to determine what taxes should be applied. It's going to look at where the employees work and where the employees live to determine the appropriate taxes. And it is intuitive enough to calculate down to the local taxes as well as considering the reciprocity agreements between states regarding taxes. This means you do not need to worry about assigning tax codes to your employees because the system automatically applies the appropriate taxes for each employee during the payroll process. Once everything has been reviewed and is ready to go, you can close your payroll batch and head back to our payroll checklist. Next, we have the Add Edit Pay Statements step, which allows you to view the payroll data on an individual basis rather than viewing all of the employee pay statements on one screen as we saw within the batch. Then you need to make sure that you have reviewed all of your payroll alerts before you close and submit your payroll. Because this payroll alert has already been taken care of, you can move forward with closing your payroll. Now, if there were any errors associated with these pay statements, they would be flagged here in this step. Now, at any time during the payroll process, you have access to your payroll reports. So let's begin by taking a look at our payroll register. The information on this payroll register is pulling from the payroll in its current state. And remember, you can look at this report even before your payroll has been closed, and you can see all of the calculations happening in real time for each pay statement. Now let's take a quick look at our general ledger summary. Keep in mind that the GL can be formatted based upon your accounting software specifications, and there are several different export formats available for your GL, including Excel or QuickBooks. And the last report that I'd like to take a look at is the Payroll Recap and Funding Report. Here you can see an overview of the entire payroll, including the total number of paid employees. You can also check out the total check amount and the total direct deposit amount. You can take a look at your tax liabilities, your vendor payments, and your cash requirements. This report also includes a high-level GL summary and a couple of payroll comparison reports. As you can see, there are many different payroll reports that you can review, including some reports that will help with auditing your payroll. For example, you have access to an employees not paid report, a master data changes report, and a manual edits audit report. After the payroll has been reviewed and closed, then the payroll can be submitted for finalization and delivery. Now, employees can access their pay statements within their employee self-service portal, which is conveniently available on any device. Right from their dashboard, they have access to their pay history, and with this personalized solution, they are provided a countdown to their next payday. Employees have access to all of their historical payroll data right from this screen. Here they can see a high-level view of their pay statement details, and if they wanted to see a copy of their actual pay statement, they would simply click here on the Download Pay Statement button. And this will give employees access to review their pay stub, which will display all of their earnings, their taxes withheld, and their benefit deductions. Also, given that this system operates off of a single database, employees also have access to their timesheet details and their accrual balances as well. In addition, employees can also download their pay stub right from here if needed. Also, right here on the dashboard, I have created a customized menu with links to areas of the system that the employee will use most frequently, just to provide for easier navigation. So using this favorites menu, we have easy access to our W-2s. All of our historical W-2s are easily accessible right from this screen, and employees have the option to consent to receive their W-2s electronically. And after signing the consent, they would be notified of when their W-2 is ready for review. From here, they have instant access to view and download their W-2, so they have this information available when filing their tax return. As you can see, our employee self-service portal will provide your employees quick access to all of their payroll information from one centralized location. Our ACA management tool enables you to easily manage your ACA compliance by streamlining the collection of employees' hours and monitoring important metrics such as measurement periods and benefit eligibility. With this solution, you will receive proactive alerts which will provide critical information when you need it the most to help you effectively manage your ACA strategy. Let's begin by discussing how our ACA management tool will help you track and manage your ACA compliance. Within the system, you can design your ACA rules to be calculated based upon your specific ACA strategy, and you can access strategic reporting to help manage employees to make sure that you are in compliance with government guidelines. You will have real-time insight into your ACA tracking efforts within the ACA Data Summary Report, which allows you to review a summary of all of your employees together over a designated period of time. This summary provides statistics on how many employees fall into each of these different categories that we see here. For example, we can see how many employees are considered to be full-time versus part-time. And we can quickly identify if there are any possible status changes or if there are any compliance alerts that we should be aware of. You can then drill down into any of these metrics directly from this report. Now, as you drill down into these metrics, you will get a more detailed view of your data. So in this case, we can see a list of all of our full-time employees who are potentially downgrading to part-time status. From here, you can also drill down into the employee's ACA detail on an individual basis. Keep in mind that because this system is a unified platform that provides a single employee record, you are able to report on relevant information from time, HR, and payroll, which allows for a more effective ACA administration process. Within this ACA tracker, the system is automatically capturing how many hours are worked per month by each employee, and the system then analyzes that data to determine who is considered to be full-time or part-time. Here you can also see where each employee falls within your measurement period. And you can also keep track of which employees have been offered an affordable plan. And there are compliance alerts in place to proactively notify you of any compliance issues should they occur. In addition, you can also keep tabs on who might have a possible status change based upon their total hours worked within this measurement period, and you will be notified of these possible status changes so that you can better manage your ACA strategy. You can also streamline your year-end processing by auto-populating your IRS forms. At year-end, the 1094-C and 1095-C forms will be populated with the information collected throughout the year within your ACA tracker. The year-end filing can be handled within the system using the IRS AIR filing and state-specific filing formats. And employees can easily opt in to have their 1095 forms electronically delivered through their employee self-service portal, or these forms can be printed and delivered as a hard copy. As you can see, this solution will provide you with the tools you need to help manage your ACA strategy more efficiently. The benefits of using an HR management system are the ways it makes managing people easier, and it saves a lot of time in the process. Our HR solution will give you instant access to all of your important information from one centralized place, allowing you to quickly dig into your data, which in turn makes decision-making easy. By using our HR tool, you will spend less time wading through the manual administration process, which will allow you to focus your time on the things that really matter the most, your people. With so many big events throughout the year like open enrollment, annual increases, and year-end processing, what if you had access to tools to help you better manage those key events? Using the Ready Connect panel, you will have access to our online documentation library, which allows you to search through content including user guides and release notes. In addition, the My Topics tab can be utilized in preparation for those key events throughout the year. For example, as you are preparing for open enrollment, your benefits administrator can be provided with the information on how to set up and manage the open enrollment process to help better prepare. Now, compliance plays a key role when it comes to the foundation of HR management, and it really appears consistently throughout the employee's life cycle. For example, you can use this HR solution to help managing a leave of absence or track your ACA reporting. In addition, you can keep track of injuries at work by creating a workers' claim. which will allow you to document all of the details around this incident, including when the injury took place and what they were doing when they were injured. We can also keep track of if they were out of work for any extended period of time, and if so, when they returned to work, or if they were offered light duty. And finally, did they get drug screened, and what were the results? We can also mark this case as OSHA recordable, which will automatically populate your OSHA logs to be posted on site. This solution will not only give you access to your OSHA compliance forms, but this will also give you access to things like EEO reporting and VETS reporting, etc. Essentially, the system will allow you to automate these processes and ensure compliance so that you can really focus on the moments that matter for the employee experience and the success of your company. Things like recruitment and onboarding, benefits administration, and performance management and compensation planning, all which are available within this single HR solution. And we've created individual demonstrations that will focus on these key HR events, but right now we're going to focus on managing employees on a day in and day out basis. So let's get started by taking a look at an organizational chart. This is an example of an org chart that gives your team members the ability to really visualize the team structure and hierarchy within your company. Now, as mentioned previously, one of the key benefits of using an HR solution is that you will spend less time wading through the manual administration process. You can empower your employees to take ownership over their own personal information by allowing them to initiate changes to their HR information through their employee self-service portal. Employees can create an HR action request for things like direct deposit changes, address changes, and they can also update their own emergency contact information. And once they have submitted these changes, HR would be alerted through an email notification, and the request would be displayed here on their to-do list. From here, you can review and approve this change request, which will be automatically updated within their employee record based upon the effective date of this request. So now let's talk about how we can use this tool to better manage our employees. Using the My Team tile here on the dashboard, we can do a search for a specific employee. From here, we have access to our employees' timesheets, their pay statement history, their schedules, etc. Also from here, we can easily access the employee's record. Because this is one single database, the employee record pulls components of timekeeping, HR, and payroll into a single centralized file for easy access. The employee record can be organized based upon how you are using the system, and it is scalable based upon security settings. Essentially, we can display the items that you are tracking or need additional visibility into. For example, here on the Main tab, we have visibility into our employees' personal information, their contact information, and their pay information, to name a few items. Now, to make it easier to find the information that you're looking for, you can use the search bar here at the top of the screen. So if you wanted to check out the accrual balances for an employee, you would simply do a search for accruals. And as you can see, it's really quick and easy to find the information that you're looking for. Now, under the HR tab, you will notice that you have the ability to track and report off of any of your HR needs. Here you can view any electronic forms that were completed by your employees. This could be I-9 forms, withholding forms, or any additional custom forms that you have asked your employees to complete. Essentially, any paper forms that you have used previously can be created as an electronic form within the system, so you can go paperless. You can also track any completed trainings or certifications, and you will be notified of any upcoming expiration dates for easier management. And you also have the ability to create custom fields to track anything that is unique to you. These custom fields are easy to create, they are fully reportable, and they do not require any additional development work. Now, within the employee record, you would access the Payroll tab to make payroll adjustments for your employees. This can include updating deductions, tax information, and direct deposits. But remember, you can automate these manual adjustments by allowing your employees to initiate some of these changes through their employee self-service portal. Once those changes have been submitted and approved, then the employee's personal information will automatically be updated against their employee record using effective dating. So this means it will automatically be updated for the appropriate payroll with little intervention from your payroll administrator. Now, in today's world, COVID tracking is critical to your business. So it's essential that HR managers have access to a tool that will allow them to easily capture information about the health status and COVID risks of their employees. Because COVID impacts your business so significantly, this solution will help you to get better visibility into the vaccination status of your workforce, and you will also be able to keep track of any positive COVID cases and do contact tracing to alert and quarantine the individuals impacted to minimize disruptions to your productivity. And you can also assign health assessments for your employees to complete at the start of their shift, which will help keep your employees safe at work. Also, as part of your HR package, you are able to create surveys. These surveys can be used to gauge your manager's effective index or maybe determine employee satisfaction. Using this report, you can see each survey question and how your employees responded. You can also create a visual representation of these responses across your entire organization. In addition to the HR functionality that we just reviewed together, you can also give your employees access to a company hub. The company hub is a single access point which allows you to create custom content to provide tools and resources for your employees to quickly and easily access. You can use this platform as a way to communicate company news or announcements. Here you can also embed videos, attach company documentation, and insert relevant links to really build employee engagement. Benefits administration can be a complicated task for your HR team. This benefits solution will provide you with the tools needed to better manage all of the challenges associated with benefits administration, including streamlining your enrollment process, reducing risks associated with billing costs, and allowing you to better manage compliance requirements like COBRA and ACA. Let's begin by taking a look at how your employees can enroll in their benefits. Keep in mind that your employees can access their benefit enrollment tool from any device to better reach and engage your entire workforce, making benefits enrollment easy and convenient for all. An employee can enroll in their benefits as a new hire, during open enrollment, and for life change events throughout the year. In this case, let's check out the open enrollment process. Now, automated notifications will alert your employees that it's time for open enrollment to begin. As your employees launch into the enrollment process, they are first brought to an instruction screen, which can be configured to give your employees an idea of what to expect as they work through this process. This can include written instruction, embedded videos, and access to supporting documentation, which will help educate your employees and encourage plan participation. Now, as we get started, keep in mind that your benefit plan configuration is completely customizable based upon your specific benefit strategy. You are able to determine eligibility rules, define plan details, and create various types of benefit plans, including medical, dental, and vision plans, along with more complex plan offerings like FSA, HSA, life and disability plans. To kick off the enrollment process, we will start by reviewing the medical insurance options. For an easy and convenient experience, you can provide a passive enrollment option, which will allow your employees to quickly re-enroll in their current coverage plans. Of course, they can also review each benefit offering individually and make the selections that work best for them. If you have more than one type of benefit plan, such as a high deductible plan versus a PPO plan, your employees can compare these plans to better understand each option. Perhaps this employee is looking for the employee-only coverage, so let's compare the employee-only options. Then the employee can compare the plan details, such as the cost of each plan or the employee contribution, the primary office visit copay, the individual deductible, and the maximum out-of-pocket cost. Once an employee has selected their comparison attributes, this then brings up a nice side-by-side comparison of the premiums, copays, deductibles, etc. So your employees have everything they need to make an informed decision on which plan they should enroll in for the upcoming plan year. This employee has already selected the Aetna Employee Only plan. As you can see, this will allow the employee to review the cost of this plan in further detail, where they can once again check out all of the costs associated with this plan. When ready, they can continue with the enrollment process for the next benefit plan. Now, the same process will apply for the dental insurance. However, for every benefit plan, we have the option to waive the coverage. In this case, perhaps this employee wants to waive their dental insurance option. When waiving coverage, an employee may be required to provide a reason for opting out of the plan. This reason list is configurable and will provide additional reporting insights for your benefit administrator to understand the reasons why an employee might have waived their coverage. So perhaps this employee already has dental insurance through another plan. Now let's move on to the life insurance option. Now there are a number of ways to set up a life insurance enrollment. Here we've set up a unit-based life insurance plan where employees can select their coverage amount by entering the number of units that they will be electing. In this case, each unit has a value of $1,000, and you can see here with this disclaimer that 100 units or $100,000 or less is guaranteed, but it's possible to request more if the evidence of insurability form is provided. So if your employees were to enter more than the guaranteed amount, they would then have the opportunity to upload a copy of their evidence of insurability form right from this screen. In addition, your employees would be required to add a beneficiary as part of their life insurance plan. All of the employees' contacts are listed here for an easy selection, or they could add a new beneficiary if needed. In this case, let's select this employee's spouse as his primary beneficiary. Keep in mind that you can add additional primary or contingent beneficiaries as needed, but in this case, this employee's spouse will receive 100% of their life insurance benefits. Now, before we continue, you will notice that the employee can compare their guaranteed versus requested amount right from this screen. And once the EOI has been provided and approved, then the employee would be bumped up to the requested coverage level. Now it's time for the employees to review their final selections. This screen will allow your employees to review and confirm their selections. They still have the opportunity to make edits to their enrollment information if needed before submitting their requests for approval. As a last step in the process, they will be asked to sign off on their benefit elections by using their electronic signature. As you can see, we have received confirmation that this enrollment form has been successfully submitted, and once submitted, the benefits will be carried through a workflow approval process. Now let's move on and take a look at how you can manage the benefits administration process. As you know, open enrollment is a big event that requires strategy, planning, and communication across your organization. This solution will provide you with quick access to relevant tools to help you manage the open enrollment process or even other key events throughout the year. Here you will have access to valuable resources which provide information on how to set up and manage the open enrollment process to support you in preparation for this big event. Now, the benefits dashboard will provide you with quick access to your benefits administration reporting. During open enrollment, you can use this enrollment status chart to check the status of the electronic benefit enrollment process across your organization. You can also get insight into your benefit census data, and you will have access to a benefits reconciliation tool that will help manage your billing costs as well. Now, after an employee has submitted their benefit enrollment form, that workflow would have triggered a notification prompting you to review their enrollment information, which can be accessed from your to-do list. Here on your to-do list, you will have visibility into the tasks that require your attention. This is where you can review and approve the new benefit requests as they come in, and once approved, the benefit selections will be saved against the employee's record. And to maximize efficiency with this process, the payroll deductions will automatically be created based upon effective dating, eliminating any manual data entry. Also, we have an integration that will provide carrier connection services, which will automatically send the carriers any plan enrollment updates to help alleviate the manual benefit administration process. This solution will also work in sync with our HCM and payroll solutions to automatically detect potential COBRA qualifying events and bring them to your attention. This COBRA administration solution automates your COBRA communications and helps manage your COBRA payments and collections as well. And finally, our benefits management tool is seamlessly tied into your ACA tracking efforts to help manage your ACA compliance strategy. Using our ACA solution, you will have visibility into benefits eligibility and plan affordability, and you will be proactively alerted should any compliance issues occur. With this solution, you are able to manage your entire performance cycle from beginning to end with tools to help aid you in managing employee development, rewarding performance, and retaining talent. Let's take a look at how you can use this performance management solution to better manage your team and help align your entire organization for success. The Talent Dashboard is an excellent place to quickly access key reporting and performance metrics that will help you understand how your employees are performing and will help aid you in the evaluation process. To get started, I want to draw your attention to the pie chart here on the dashboard, which will allow you to keep track of the entire review process across your organization. This chart will provide details around how many reviews are currently in progress, how many are finalized, etc. And keep in mind that there are automated system-generated notifications to remind those participating in the review process of upcoming due dates. Now, by navigating to the to-do list, you can check out the reviews that have been assigned to you for completion. This solution allows you to automate and streamline your review process by allowing you to custom create your reviews electronically, thereby eliminating your paper-based forms. So let's begin by taking a look at this sample review. Now, your reviews can be auto-initiated based upon your review frequency. For example, you can create quarterly reviews or annual reviews based upon your specific business needs. And when building your performance evaluations, you can define measurable objectives with a clearly defined rating scale to assess your employees fairly. This evaluation is reviewing the employees based upon their core values, their competencies, and their goals, with the goals carrying the most weight. Now, we are assigned the task of completing this employee's review. And keep in mind that these review workflows are completely configurable, meaning you can define who will be participating in this review process for each employee. As you are reviewing your employees, you may want to pull some performance metrics to make sure that you are providing a fair evaluation. So right here within the review, you have access to your historical reviews, along with other key data that will help aid you in your evaluation. One big factor when developing your performance strategy is to define goals that will align the entire organization for success. You can create company-wide goals, team goals, and individual employee goals that can all be documented and managed within the system. Essentially, goal tracking allows you to stay on top of employee development. You can use this tool to encourage employees to achieve a new skill, work towards a new accomplishment, or even enroll in a new training program. So let's dive into one of these personal goals that have been assigned to this employee. Keep in mind that these goals can be assigned to the employees throughout the year, and they can access their goals within their employee self-service portal, where they can update the status of these goals themselves. And using the notes section, they can communicate their achievements to their manager. This enables management to continuously monitor employee goals and encourages managers to deliver ongoing coaching or feedback throughout the year. These goals can then be automatically tied directly to the employee's performance review so that their achievements can be scored as part of their overall evaluation. In addition to goal tracking, throughout the year you can capture additional information to aid you in evaluating your employees' performance. Incident tracking will help you identify areas for improvement within your organization. This could reflect attendance violations, safety concerns, and disciplinary or performance issues. Not only are you able to keep track of poor performance within the system, but you are also able to keep track of employee achievements, such as positive recognitions or awards earned by the employee. And you can drill down into any incident directly from this screen to take a deeper look. Within each incident, you are able to keep track of all of the details, including any notes or comments left by the manager. As you can see, these documented incidents can play a huge role in the overall evaluation of an employee. And finally, you have the opportunity to gather peer feedback as you prepare for your upcoming review. Now you can determine who will be providing feedback for your employees, or you can allow them to assign their own feedback providers. Let's check out an example of our peer feedback. Your peer feedback questionnaire is custom built to gather valuable insights from frontline employees to incorporate into the overall evaluation. Now that we have evaluated our employees' performance, it's time to go through the review process. Here on the entry screen, managers can input their rankings and add any additional comments for each of these review objectives. And once the feedback has been completed, this review can be submitted and it will then be ready for finalization. On the summary screen, you can easily complete the finalization process. The final ranking is taking into account all of the different variables to determine the final weighted average for this review. Now, as a last step in this review process, annual increases can be awarded to the employees for their hard work right here within the review. Or you can use our compensation module to manage the annual increases across your team from one centralized place. So let's take a look at our compensation module to see how easy it is to manage these increases. You have easy access to your compensation worksheet right here from the dashboard. Within our compensation module, you can set budgets for annual increases across your company. In this example, we are awarding a 5% increase across the entire company, and each manager can award increases to their employees right here from this worksheet, and they will be forced to stay within this set budget. This worksheet shows managers their employees' current compensation, how they performed on their last finalized review, and where they stand within their pay grade. There is also a built-in tool that makes recommendations for what increase percentage the manager should distribute to the employees based upon their performance rating and their pay grade so that they can make fair compensation decisions. And then once all of the increases have been inputted into this worksheet, the manager would submit their compensation changes for approval. And upon approval, the new compensation changes would automatically go into effect based upon effective dating. So while this wraps up our performance review cycle, managers still need tools and insights to help them effectively discuss career development with their employees. This is where succession planning comes into play. So let's take a deeper look into succession planning. Our interactive succession planning tool helps identify and prepare talent for advancement or promotion to new, more challenging roles within the organization. Here on the dashboard, we can display analytics that will give us insight into our succession plans that we have in place. You may be familiar with the 9-box approach to succession planning. Essentially, this is a commonly used method for evaluating an organization's current talent and identifying potential leaders. When I compare this performance and readiness talent matrix, the individuals identified as high potential candidates for succession are located here in the upper right-hand box, while those who are in the lower left-hand box might flag as a concern. This 9-box approach helps identify where investments need to be made to develop future leaders. In this example, we can see that Kelly is a high performer who is ready to make the move immediately when the need arises. We can also get insights into other metrics, such as the employee's potential, risk of loss, or impact of loss for key positions. If we change the filter to show the impact of loss, this chart is now showing us that if Paul Peterson were to terminate employment, the impact of his loss would be significant. With our succession planning tool, you can identify replacement employees and make sure that they are ready when promotions, resignations, or reorganizations occur so that you are able to quickly and efficiently fill those open positions. So let's drill down and take a deeper look into Kelly's succession plan. When checking out the succession plans for an employee, you can keep track of the employee's performance, which can be tied to the performance review outcome. In this case, she is a high performer. You can also determine her readiness, and we can see that she is currently ready for the next step in her career path. She also has high potential within the organization with a low risk of loss, meaning she's not likely to leave the company anytime soon. And if she were to leave the company, the impact of her loss would be relatively minor due to the fact that she is not in a critical or key role within the organization. Kelly is being groomed to replace Paul Peterson in the event that Paul changes roles or terminates employment. And if Kelly steps into a new position, we have identified Ashley as her potential successor. Assigning succession plans to an employee outlines a clear career path for them. This encourages employees to be more engaged and more motivated to continue to grow and develop within the company. And creating a strategy for mentoring and developing your employees will reduce the retention risks and the impact of loss. Employees are looking to their managers for coaching and career planning, and as you can see, performance management with succession planning lets you review the skills and competencies required for those key positions and helps to identify potential employees for development. To summarize, let's jump into Kelly's employee record to get one more glimpse into the performance management tools that are available to you. With this solution, you can use goal tracking to assign developmental goals in order to help employees achieve the skills required for their career growth. You can also track any trainings or certifications that they have completed in their path for advancement. And you can keep track of achievements and recognitions through the incident tracking tool to help identify which employees might be ready for the next step in their career path. In all, performance management is not strictly a performance review tool. Performance management will improve employee engagement, help develop talent, and ensure the retention of your top performers. With our leave management solution, your organization can automate the administration and tracking of paid and unpaid federal, state, and employer-specific leave policies. This tool will enable you to reduce the administrative burden and the risk of noncompliance for managing leave of absence requests and eligibility. When it comes to leave, the employees have the opportunity to initiate their own leave request through their employee self-service portal. Right here on the employee's dashboard, they have instant access to their leave balances, and they can initiate their leave request directly from here. With this self-service tool, they are not only able to request a leave of absence, but they can also check their eligibility by completing this "Do I qualify for FMLA" questionnaire. When an employee kicks off the questionnaire, it will direct them to their to-do list to answer a series of questions. From their to-do list, they can complete their questionnaire to determine if they are eligible for FMLA. To initiate a leave request, an employee would simply complete this form. They have the option to request continuous or intermittent leave, and after the leave request has been submitted, it would be routed for approval. Once approved, the leave case would be created so you can begin tracking the leave of absence for this employee. With this tool, you will have access to global leave reporting and analytics across your organization. This dashboard report identifies any open leave cases that you may be currently managing for easy access. From here, you can also quickly create a new leave case on behalf of your employees if needed. Now let's drill down into this report to take a deeper look at one of these cases. On this first screen, you have instant visibility into each employee's current leave status. This is where you can keep track of the duration of their leave or when your employees are expected to return to work, and you will have a detailed view of their entitlement time or their leave balances. Keep in mind that this solution helps to ensure that your policies are being enforced consistently across your organization, and this tool will allow you to set up rules to provide accurate tracking of both federal and state leave guidelines. To help improve efficiencies with tracking this data, you can also establish automatic notifications around when employees are expected to return to work. This leave management tool provides a seamless integration with timesheets and schedules. Within this case, you can generate the leave entries for the duration of this leave and then populate those hours onto the employee's timesheet. When you are setting up the leave rules, you can determine how the leave will hit the employee's timesheet. For example, you can set up rules so that they must use all of their PTO time, and when that time has been exhausted, they would go unpaid for the remainder of their leave. You also have the ability to scan and store documents against the leave case. All of the Department of Labor's FMLA forms are built standard within the system and can be populated with the employee's personal information for easy management. As you can see, with this leave management solution, you are able to better support your people by automating your leave administration process, all while minimizing your compliance risk. Thank you for taking the time to review our HCM solution, and please contact us today for more information.